Hi, my name is Maneesh, and I lead the carrier and driver products technology team for Amazon Transportation Services. We build systems that power Amazon's middle mile operations. Today, I am here to tell you about Relay short term trucking contracts, a novel approach to securing trucking supply. You can think of our facilities as nodes and the connections between them as arcs. All arcs upstream from our delivery stations and from Postal Service destination delivery units are considered as middle mile. Using US as an example, all stateside arcs are enabled by 53-foot semi-trucks, box trucks, containers on the train, and cargo airplanes. Today we will talk about one of the ways we secure trucking supply. Our trucking demand over the course of the year varies as seen in the graph. Furthermore, the top portion of the graph is unpredictable. Trucking industry operates primarily in two ways: long-term commitments in form of contracts or through the spot marketplace where shippers and carriers come together, often referred as load board. If we were to make annual contracts to cover our most busy weeks, we would have a lot of wasted capacity for the rest of the year. If we were to take all our demand to the spot marketplace, we would be subject to high variability in cost with no guarantee of delivery performance. To achieve a delivery performance that meets our end customer promise, scales with our demand variation at a cost lower than alternatives, we segment our demand into three parts. First is demand that is consistent week over week and we can predict. This we assign to our supply programs that are long-term commitments and have the lowest cost. Second is the demand set that we cannot predict. We send this to the spot marketplace because any commitment made would expose us to underutilized capacity. The third set is demand that is not consistent week over week. However, we can predict it. A good example of this is the Prime Week promotional sale. Because we can predict it, we tried a completely new approach: short-term contracts. Even though our short-term contracts had limited precedent in the trucking industry, they took off because it worked both for the trucking company and Amazon. For trucking companies, it provided them peace of mind in form of assured work ahead in time to keep their tractors and their drivers busy versus going to load boards to look for work day to day. This peace of mind has monetary value. It showed up for Amazon in form of lower costs. Relay as a freight marketplace hosts tens of thousands of small trucking companies, some as small as 3 trucks in their fleet, others with up to 500 trucks in their fleet. To operate at scale with Relay short-term contracts, every Wednesday we conduct a reverse Dutch auction where we put out tens of thousands of trucking work blocks where Amazon is the auctioneer and the trucking companies are the bidders. In a Dutch auction, the auctioneer begins at a high price, higher than he believes the item will fetch, then decreases the price until one of the bidder declares mine. The bidder then receives the item at a price at which she made the call. In our case, it is a reverse Dutch because we, the buyer of the service, are pricing it and we increase price until someone accepts the work. We chose Dutch versus English or Vickery auction for the simplicity of its transaction and speed. There are no emails or no phone calls involved. Bidders simply click a button to book the work, and auctioneer gets the best price outcome. We host this auction on the contracts page of the Relay portal. Carriers are able to see work block bundles and other attributes such as work week, node of operation, and payout to make a decision. Just like a Dutch flower auction, we revise the payout until someone takes the work block. As a first step to determine how many contracts to auction and at what price point, we use machine learning to plot various pricing outcomes. We train a supervised learning model, specifically a light GBM model, and estimate the block rate which will attract a given number of drivers in a given publication week for a future contract week, using the model features such as historical spot marketplace rates and origin 3-zip. We use dynamic programming to determine the optimal set of prices in the weeks leading up to contract execution, which is shown in the graph as a pricing journey between first set of blocks put out for the auction and the final week to secure all the blocks for our upcoming execution week. To determine how many blocks to auction and in which week leading up to the execution week, we do the following. We compute the variability of the demand. We compute the variability of price we expect to pay to secure the demand. Then we compute the cost of overage, cost of underage to determine the number of blocks we put out for auction. This is same as what is referred as the news vendor problem in the operations research community. We do this every week for the entire demand set on an 8-week horizon, including the new demand and any yet to be auctioned off old demand. Every week, several thousand small businesses, trucking companies in our case, book secure work with a competitive payout in form of short-term contracts on relay, which in turn provides us more than a third of our US trucking supply. This year, we are expanding the product to Europe and are already seeing single-digit gains in the cost. My favorite part about building this product was how the engineering teams came together in a very frugal way to create a virtual pizza team by borrowing resources from multiple 2-pizza teams. Hope you enjoyed learning a bit about middle mile operations and the groundbreaking work our teams are doing on behalf of our end customers. You can check out our career page at the URL on the screen. Thank you for listening.